intently listening to our music. And we got chatting in one of the dates. And they were American. And I thought, what are you guys doing here? And they said, well, don't tell everybody, but we're with the Everly Brothers. And I was very excited, you know. So actually one of the guys was Don Peake, who ended up being one of my best friends and still is. He lives in LA. He was part of the Wrecking Crew, and he was with the Everly Brothers for a couple of years. Yeah, good old Don. Yeah. And I got to meet Phil. That was a tour where Don was sick and had to fly him back to New York in a straitjacket, I think. And we were doing the drugs, whatever he was doing. So I guess it was later on, I got to LA with a band called Heads, Hands and Feet back in 1970, played the Troubadour. Phil Everly came out to see us, and in a roundabout way, he asked me if I knew of any guitar players, because he and his brother were looking for one. And I was heavily committed to the band I was with, so I had to decline the offer. But it was many years later, after they'd had their big fight in 1973, they didn't speak to each other for 10 years. And I really got to know Don Everly during that period, and I was played local clubs with him, a couple of tours and whatever. And actually one gig in London was a big country festival. I was there with Emmylou Harris, and Don was on the show as a solo artist, and he said, will you play with me tonight? I said, yeah, of course I will, you know. So we started to have a little rehearsal. He said, hold it, you're going to sing with me, aren't you? I said, what? He said, I want you to sing with me. Now you have to bear in mind, this has been videoed for BBC television. So there I was an Everly brother on the TV. Anyway, make a long story short, they got back together in '83, and they both chose me to be one of the guitar players. And we did the Royal Albert Hall in London, big success, and I thought, well, after all these years, I got to play with the Everly Brothers. And then the following year, I got a call. They said, right, we're going to go on the road. We're going to do an album. You know, we're actually going to tour. You know, are you available? I thought about it for a second. I said, well, I guess I am, because I'm just about to get fired by Eric Clapton. It wasn't funny at the time. I've been with Eric for 5 years, and he fired the whole band twice, and I managed to survive a couple of times. It became my turn to leave, you know. So off I went on the road with the Everly Brothers in '84, not dreaming how long it would last. In fact, it was well over 25 years, so I didn't know those guys quite well.
Albert, since you were talking about the Everly Brothers, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here.
Well, I'm going to.
But I think you'll be fine. He said, are you going to sing an Everly Brothers song? No, I'm not. I live in Amagansett. I cannot sing.